All right. Well, let me dig out what's in our kit today. Okay. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this is the time to celebrate kit for, it's going to have this little label on it right here. And let me show you what's inside. Okay. So the first thing I want you to notice are the napkins. You're going to have this adorable happy birthday napkin. You're going to have the full napkin for this. So if you do decide you want to create maybe some more, or maybe you want to do something fun and festive for someone else's birthday. And sometimes it's nice to have an extra one in case we have an oopsie. And even I have oopsies. So it's always good to have an extra one. So happy birthday is a large luncheon size napkin. But then celebrate is a cocktail size napkin. It's a little smaller, but look how cute. It is so adorable and so fun. So we're going to be combining this with this really cute, fun polka dot. Okay, so you're going to have full napkins of each of these as well. Just really, really cute. And I'll of course, show you what we're going to do with them. Okay. You will also have two 6x6 canvases to create on. Okay. You'll have those two 6x6 canvases. You're going to have some twine. Now, this twine is going to be for us to create hangers for the canvases so that they can hang on the welcome home display. Or if you're choosing to just hang them yourself, I mean, that's what we're going to be using this for. So you'll have a piece of red and white twine and a piece of black and white twine. Hello, hello, Connie. I like mixing the patterns too, Karen. Yes, awesome. Yes, I have a few notebooks, Kim. I do. Let me show you what else is going to be in this bundle. This really awesome, huge bundle, this curly ribbon bow. And what I love about this is it's actually ribbon. It's actually ribbon. It's not just like the stringy stuff that you get like on balloons. It's actually curly ribbon, and it's really one kind of oversized bow. Let me show you. So you can see it's got like the little wires, what do you call it, like a sandwich tie here and a little sticky thing here, but it's really too big for one canvas. It is the perfect size though for two canvases. So we're actually going to be taking this apart and turning it into two bows. Okay, so that's going to be fun. I'll show you how to do that. And then to top it off, we have to have some star confetti. So you're going to have a little bag of star confetti. And trust me, there's going to be way more in here than you're really going to use. But we just, it's just easy to throw a spoonful into the bag. Okay, so you'll have some star confetti in here also. So what else are you going to need? Well, the other things you're going to need today are going to be Mod Podge. I'm going to be using the yellow label Mod Podge. Where's my other jar here? It comes in big jars, but you can also get it in a jar like this. The yellow label is the matte. That is one of my favorites for working with napkin art, especially on canvases. Okay. The other thing we're going to use a little bit of is going to be some white paint. Just some white paint. I'm using Simplicity, which is our chalk-based paints that we carry. The color's called Simplicity. It's just a pure white. If you have another type of white paint, that's okay. You can use that as well. And then, of course, we'll be cutting a little bit, so scissors will be handy. We may be sanding a little bit off of edges, things like that. So if you have a piece of sandpaper or a little foam, some type of sanding device, sanding block or sanding file, and yes, and then we're going to be adding lots of sparkle. Okay, lots of sparkle. So if you have stickles of some kind, that's going to be great. So really the only thing we don't put in the kits for you are the things that are wet. I also really like to do pen work. And we're going to do a little bit of pen work on some of these letters to help them stand out. So I'll be using my Pitt pens for that. Okay. All right. I love the welcome home kits too, Carol. They're just so fun. And it's such a great gift for someone too, right? I mean, we might as well talk about gifts if we're making these celebrate, this canvas set. I mean, how awesome is it? Because it's getting harder and harder, I think, to gift for people sometimes, especially certain people in our lives. where, you know, the things they need, they get, the things they want, they get. But I kind of love that I could give this welcome home display and then just continue to gift a few, you know, different canvases for them to put on display. And it's so unique, right? So to me, it makes an awesome, awesome gift. It's a gift that can keep on giving. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and jump in and get started. Thank you. Thank you, Diane. I appreciate you posting that. And again, for anyone that is interested in the Napkin Club, because the doors are open, we would love for you to come and check out the information and come and join us. We'll be talking a lot about the Napkin Club all week long. All week long. Okay. Yeah, the doors are open. You can bypass the wait list, but just through actually, let's see, I guess it's Sunday. So yeah, we want you to come and join us. All right. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to change my screen here. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm going to turn my volume up just to be sure you guys can hear me. Best club ever. I love you saying that, Nancy. Thank you. Okay. We do have other canvases. Yes, we do have canvases for the seasons and the holidays, and we sell them by sets. So like next month in May, later in May, we're going to be creating a summer and a patriotic set. So it'll be one summer canvas and one patriotic canvas that you can switch out. And we have some from the past. We have our spring Easter. We have our love and luck. We have, you know, we have several different ones available. Okay. All right, let's change this screen out so you can see my table a little better here. And I'm just going to be working on top of this brown craft paper today. It's just to protect my surface. That's it. Okay. All right, let's move the bow. I'm going to move the bow. I'm going to move the stars. And I'm going to move the twine out of the way. We're just going to focus on the actual canvases to start. Okay. And I spy like a hair or something blowing across the screen of my phone. Do y'all see that? Okay, hang on. Let's see if I can grab it. You guys, I'm such a shedder. How crazy is this? Okay, hang on just a second. Let's see if we can figure out where is that coming from? Where is that hair coming from? Do y'all see it? I can see it. Maybe it's just on my screen. Okay, I think I got it. Yay. All right. Okay, let's start with canvas number 1. And we're going to start with a happy birthday napkin here. So I just need 1 square of this napkin. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this square out. There we go. Y'all couldn't see it? Okay, well, I could see it, and it was driving me crazy. I got rid of it, though. Is anybody else out there a shedder? Oh, my gosh. I'm such a shedder. My hair is just everywhere. And luckily, I have a lot of it. All right, so we're going to start with this one. Just cut off a square of the napkin. That's all you're going to need. And then you can do there's a couple different methods of what you can do to separate the plies. So most of you know, if you're Napkin Club members or if you've watched me on my page, I do something called the lick and stick method. But there's other ways as well. So let's just show you. If you're going to do the lick and stick method, literally, I just tap my finger on my tongue, and then I just kind of press really hard together and see what happens. The plies just kind of stick together. Now that's one way. Now there's another ply on this, so I'm going to show you another way. Another way is just to sorry, I'm just dipping my finger into the Mod Podge just a little bit. And don't try to separate it while it's gluey. Tap your fingers together until they get a little sticky. See how they're kind of sticking together a little bit? And then come over and press, and that will help you get that layer off. So a couple different ways you can do that. Also, if you ever get a stubborn layer, you can use tape, like washi tape or painter's tape, and sometimes even just a pin to kind of pick at a corner. So it's very, very easy to do. So what we're going to do with this first one is no painting at all. We don't have to paint a thing. We are just going to dip right into the Mod Podge. Let me switch my screen again. We're going to dip right into our Mod Podge and just put a nice healthy coat over the top. This is a great project for any skill level. Even if you've never worked with napkin art before, these little canvases are really great. Very easy and very fun. So I'm not really putting anything on the sides, right? I just put it on the top. You want to make sure that it looks nice and wet. You can kind of see that in the light. And then I'm going to take my napkin kind of down from the top because I want to get all of the candles, which means some of my cake stand is going to go underneath. I'm trying to get all the candles on where they will show. Okay, so do you see that? I think you can see that pretty well. I want to make sure those candles, the candle flames are on. So what's going to happen is this piece is going to kind of get wrapped around to the edge. Okay, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Let's focus on this part. I'm going to be using a plastic wrap. This is just a plastic sheet. It's actually a deli bakery sheet, but you could also use a plastic wrap in your kitchen, even like a saran wrap. I love using this for smooth surfaces. And I'm going to start by kind of smoothing the center. I'm using this fatty part of my fingers. Okay. And then just kind of starting in the center and then just working my way out. Out, out, out. Super easy. And it gives you, if you have a lot of trouble with wrinkles or things like that, this is a great thing to do. Now you're still going to see the texture of the canvas coming through because that napkin tissue is so thin, but we love that. All right, now I'm going to remove this off. It'll be really easy. You'll see that the Mod Podge kind of comes up through the napkin. So we'll put that one to the side. And then I'm going to start working on the sides. As I mentioned, we're not going to sand this one off. We're going to keep the edges on this. I especially like the candle. I'm sorry, I keep saying candle. The cake stand kind of coming down off the bottom here. And let's just smooth that in place. Now let's go up and do the top. The top, there's hardly any. There's just hardly any left here at all. Just a little edge. So I'm actually just going to use my brush to smooth that part down. There we go. And we're just going to keep turning. I'm going to add some Mod Podge over here. There won't be near as much over here. There's no, you don't have to do any kind of fancy folding on these. We're just going to press it down, and then I'll show you what I do with the corners. Perfect. So what's going to happen with the corners down here is we're going to wind up with this little, kind of like this little flap. See that? We're just going to trim that off in a minute once it's dry. I do have my heat gun out so that I can just speed along the drying process. I don't have to use it. It just, makes things dry faster. So we're going to put that side down. And again, we're going to wind up with this little flap here. You always want to put a dry part of your plastic wrap on top of the wet. Don't ever do wet on top, because if you do, it will try to pull off your napkin. All right, so we've got that part done. Now I'm going to just dry it. Look how easy that was. Easy breezy. So I just want to make sure it's all good and dry. And then I'm just going to come in with my scissors here and just cut off that little flyaway flap. If you feel like you need a little bit of a little more Mod Podge to go over that, don't really worry about it because we're going to wind up putting a coat on it to kind of seal the napkin so that we can add when we get ready to seal it. If you don't have the plastic wrap, you most definitely, Lisa, can use parchment paper, but just know that parchment paper, it's not as pliable as plastic wrap. That's the cool thing about the plastic wrap is, I mean, it's so pliable. So all your pressure goes down into all the, the places, whereas parchment paper, it's just not this pliable. So if all you have is parchment paper, use parchment paper. But if you still are having some problems with wrinkles or not getting a nice smooth finish, I want you to try the plastic wrap. Okay. All right. Let's move this one out of the way. We're going to let this one just kind of dry on its own for a moment. And we're going to move to this one. We're going to kind of work on both canvases at the same time. And this one, my friends, we're going to do something a little different too. So the first thing we're going to do, though, is this. Let me get my screen back again so that you can see my table well. So this is the dot napkin. I'm going to turn the dot napkin over, and we want just enough to kind of come up to the sides. So we're going to just kind of position this right about like that. And then I'm going to make some cuts. So I'm going to cut this. I want to make sure I want dots on the side. So make sure and cut a little, we want to have a little extra. What is that? About an inch, roughly. It's probably more like 3/4 of an inch, but as long as you have about an inch, should be fine. Okay. And then this is what we're going to have left. All right. We're going to hang on to this, and I'll tell you what we possibly could do with this here in a little bit. Okay. So that's the excess napkin. Now, these cuts don't have to be perfect because, again, we can come in, we can sand them, all the things. All right. So, yes, you can use a sandwich bag. You can use like a Ziploc bag and cut it open, Vivian. Yes. So you could just cut that open and use that. That's a great alternative. All right, I'm going to separate this. This napkin also has 3 plies, so you will need to get the 2 plies off. Now, if you accidentally miss a ply, the reason this is important and the reason we give you, you have some extra napkin in there in case you need it, is because if you don't get the plies off, what happens is when you go to decoupage the napkin tissue on, the top ply immediately tries to remove itself. It starts to bubble up and it tries to work itself away. So it is important that we get all the plies off. And every one of the napkins you're getting today have 3 plies. So in this kit, just make sure you take 2 plies off of each napkin. So again, I'm going to come in and we're just going to do a nice coat over the top. Nice healthy coat. And then our goal on this one is to make sure that we've got enough on the edges, right, to cover the sides of the canvas. And you can kind of just tap it, pat it down in place. Don't smooth it. We're going to wait and smooth it after we put on our plastic wrap. All right, now we can smooth away. Again, start in the middle and then just start pushing out to the outside edges. Yeah, oh my gosh, it's so cute. The deli sheets really are a game changer because I love the kind of the ply of them, or the weight, I guess, of them. I love that they don't stick together like saran wrap. And I love that they just pop out of a box like a Kleenex. They're in my Amazon shop. I get them on Amazon. They just pop out like a Kleenex and they're fabulous. Okay. So this time I'm going to show you something a little bit different. I'm not going to peel off the top. I'm not going to peel off the top. This is going to help me to be able to hold the canvas without getting my fingers messy. So the plastic wrap is still on the top. Just going to show you another little tip, another little trick here. And so sometimes what I'll do is I'll come around while I'm holding this, and I'm going to put the Mod Podge on all of the sides at one time. Okay, I'm going to put it all on the sides at one time. I can hold the front because I still have the plastic wrap on it. So now all of my sides have Mod Podge on them. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the table to my advantage here. And I'm going to do, I like to do opposite sides first. And then we're going to go in, do this side, and then this side. It's so fast. Then you're going to come in and just smooth. Right? So easy and fast. And, you know, that's what, the more you start working with napkins, the more you begin to learn these little tips and tricks and like, well, why hadn't I thought of that before? So that way my plastic wrap is on everything. Just kind of, again, just kind of pinch those corners up. We'll be taking those off with our scissors. Isn't that convenient? Look how fast that was. And now we'll take off the plastic wrap. Always finding easier, better ways to do things. We never ever stop learning, do we? All right, we're going to dry this. And then I'll nip off the corners and I'll show you what's going to happen next. I know, I love the polka dots. They're so fun. Fun and festive. Okay, let's pick this up now, and I'm going to come in and cut off those corners. If you have anything on the bottom, the back side of the canvas that you need to sand off, you can sand that off. So again, just coming in, nipping that off. We will, when we seal the canvas, those will all be sealed down really well. Just so easy. Okay, so now we have this cute dot canvas. Cute polka dot canvas. Looks like we painted the polka dots on. That's what we love, love, love. In the Napkin Club, we love napkins that have a white background. If they have a white background, they just blend into their surface. It's so cool. So now we're going to work with Celebrate. Okay, so we're going to need 1 square of the Celebrate napkin. And yes, you can napkinize paper if you want to make your own paper crafts, cards, scrapbooking embellishments, custom papers. We do all kinds of things in the Napkin Club. And that's just a few. I mean, pretty much there's not a surface I've found that we can't put napkin art on. The trick is knowing the best practice to put the napkin art on that particular surface. And that's where I come in and I play and I experiment, do all the things, and then bring back my learnings to our club and show them what to do. So they don't have to do, they don't have to figure it out. They can learn from me and not have to be the one doing all the experimenting. All right. Here we go. Thank you, guys. Yes, all your names are going into a drawing. We're going to do a gift couple. Actually, we're going to do 3 giveaways at the end of this session today. Okay. I'll watch for your questions. So if you have any questions, definitely let me know. All right. So the next thing we're going to do, again, we've got to separate this napkin. So 1 ply. And now the 2nd ply. Now, I'm going to teach you a trick. Whoops, I just had a tear, but it's okay. The tear was, I think, in the back. We'll see. Let's see. Oh, I got a little tear in my napkin. I think it's still salvageable. Sometimes that second layer, oh, it is just the back layer. Okay, good. Didn't tear through the front layer. That happens sometimes, but you've got extra napkins in case that happens. You got to have extra squares from your napkins, right? So we're going to look at this square, and you're going to see that the top tissue is very translucent. So if I put this down onto my canvas like this, do you see how it all gets kind of muddled because you're seeing all the dots coming through the back? Do you see that? So I'm going to show you how we're going to collage this on top of the dots. And we're going to do it in a way where we don't see the dots coming through on the Celebrate napkin. So you guys, I'm going to be using what's called a friction pin. This is a friction pin. If you don't have a friction pin, pins are great because they disappear with heat. All right, they disappear with heat. And everything I'm showing you is available in our shop. They're like $1.99, and they are a crafter's best friend. Absolutely. So what I'm going to do is just lay this napkin down. It's just going to be centered, and you can measure it if you want to. I'm not really a measurer. I'm just kind of an eyeballer. I'm going to eyeball it here. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to make a couple little registration marks right on each corner. Okay, so I'm just kind of tracing around right on each corner. If you don't have a friction pin, you could do this lightly with a pencil. Just do it very lightly where just you can see. So now I've done this little registration mark. Okay, can you guys see that? Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. So what I am going to do now is I am going to actually pull out my ruler. And I'm just going to connect these registration marks together. Okay. And I'm going to draw a line. So we are actually going to apply some paint in this square. And that way, when we put our Celebrate napkin down, it's going to show. It's really going to pop, and it's going to look adorable. So our goal then is we're going to paint over some of these polka dots. Trust me, this is way easier than trying to cut a square out of the polka dots and all the things. This is not going to be hard at all. So I have now kind of done a square. Now, if you're using a pencil, just do it just very lightly, just where you can see. And I'm going to grab my white paint. I'm using Simplicity from Country Chic. That's the paints we carry in my shop. Oh, goodness. And clearly, oh, there it goes. Yeah, I need to clean the top of this lid. All right, so I'm going to just use a white, and it's going to be helpful if you use kind of a brush that has straight edges on it, I think anyway. You can just start in the middle. And then as we get closer to the lines, we're going to be more careful, right? We're going to be more careful. And so when I get to the lines, I'm just going to be a little more careful with my paint as I go over. And I'm going to start with one coat. One coat actually may be enough, depending on what paint you're using. If it, you're going to dry it. If it dries and you feel like the dots are still showing through too much, then after it dries, just put on a quick second coat. Most of the time, if we're using that chalk and mineral-based paints, usually one coat will kind of do it. Or I may just like go in and just touch up an area or something. So just take that straight brush right along that line. If you go over the line a little bit, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Probably not going to be able to tell it all. We're going to do some pen work anyway, kind of around the edges. And that's always a good disguise. Okay, so that is my first coat. We are getting more simplicity in. Yes, I feel like you guys just eat it. I think you're eating it or drinking it. I don't know. We do use it all the time, but it's constantly on order. So as soon as it comes back in, that'll be fun. If you want a second choice, I would say crinoline. Crinoline is a good second choice. So I'm just going to dry this a little bit. We're going to look at it. up close so that you can see. This is just one coat. So see the one coat, that really helped, right? So now let's put our Celebrate canvas on there, and we can see, you may still see a little faint, just a faint, what do you want to call it? Maybe you see a faint, what do we want to call this? Like a shadow of a dot, I guess, here or there. But to me, I think this looks great. So I just want to make sure that these dots aren't bright, you know. I think this is good enough. This is going to help this to really start coming out, okay? It's going to help our Celebrate to pop out. That's what I should say. All right, so now then, if you want to heat up your ink lines, you can at this point, but I'm just going to wait. I'm going to go ahead and put down my Mod Podge. And again, this is okay. You can actually Mod Podge over the whole front. And then we can do the sides here after we do this part. Okay, so we want to make sure we have a good, again, a good healthy coat, and make sure that paint is dry. That's important. So now then, I'm just got to line things up within my registration marks, right? I'm going to line those things up. It's so much easier if you have those little corners, those little registration marks, and you keep those lines. We're going to go back to plastic wrap. And again, we're going to start smoothing in the center and then work our way to the outside edges. And now our Celebrate is really going to pop. So it's, those dots are going to kind of fade. You'll still see them just a little bit, but they're going to be more of a faded looking background. So that way Celebrate really pops. Okay. And again, don't worry if your lines are showing. I haven't done anything to erase mine yet. I'll dry this and then they'll disappear. And if you did pencil lines and they're showing and they're not going to disappear, but don't worry about it because we're going to do some pen work on top of it. But isn't that cute? So see how like it's really vivid here, but then you just kind of see the shadow, just kind of the faded out. I think it's really cute like that, but Celebrate really stands out now, right? Really, really stands out. So before I dry this, I'm going to go ahead and let's put a coat of Mod Podge on the side. We do need to seal our napkins. You guys, napkins are, the purpose in life of a napkin is to absorb, right? It's normally used to clean up things, our mouth, our table, whatever, our hands. It's made to absorb. So we've got to seal it to protect it. And trust me, as bright and colorful as these are, they will definitely need to be protected. I have little grandchildren. And if I put this something out like this out for their birthday, they may want to hold it. And I may want them to hold it for pictures or something. So it's always a good idea to have it sealed. And that's going to make sure that everything, you know, I'm able to clean it. It also seals our napkins so we can do pen work. So I'm going to dry this just a little bit on the top, and then I'm going to put a coat over the Celebrate napkin as well. I like to dry it a little bit beforehand. Now we just need a thin coat of it over the Celebrate. Just a nice thin even coat just to protect it. Protection and also to seal it. So we can do our pen work and all the other fun things we want to do. All right, I'm going to slide this canvas now out of the way. I know, wouldn't it be cute to do picture, use them as like photo props? Yeah, I think it'd be really cute to do that. All right, so there's that. Now let's go back to Celebrate. We've already kind of sealed over Celebrate, but I've got a little bit of this napkin left. I've got some of this napkin left, and I'm like, well, why shouldn't I have a little fun with this part of the napkin? So I thought it would be fun to come in and put some of the polka dots on the side of the happy birthday napkin. I'm not going to do it down here because I just kind of like the candle. I'm sorry, I did it again. The cake base kind of going over the bottom. So I thought I might put some on these sides. And this is just optional. You don't have to do this. But if you choose to do it, it could be really fun. So I'm just going to cut myself a strip. I'm not going to worry too much about the size because it's just going to be easier for me to cut a strip and then just sand it off the back. So, and then if you don't like that cake stand base going across the bottom, we can just cover it up or bring the dots to it or something like that. Okay, so again, it doesn't really matter as long as it's larger than, the sides of our canvas. The rest we can sand off. Let me make sure this was 2 plies. Yes, it was. Sometimes both plies come off at the same time, and that is really fabulous. All right, so I'm going to start right up here at the top because why let this go to waste? Let's use it. That polka dot is so cute. I think it'll be adorable. So I'm going to start just right here at the edge. And I'm just going to lay this down again, just can kind of tap it down. Grab my plastic wrap and smooth that on there. Okay, and I'm just going to keep kind of working my way around. Thank you guys for helping to answer questions and things and posting links. I appreciate that. All right, I got that piece down. Now, remember, I'm on top of parchment paper, so it's okay for me to kind of turn this. I'm just going to keep going around. And you guys, I'm not going to try to match up dots. If you want to do that, obviously you can, but I'm just not going to try to do that. To me, some things are just more trouble than they're worth. Actually, what I will do is this. I will cut this part that way. There we go. So going around these, I'll sand a little bit off the top and the bottom. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this because I'm not sure I want to put it on the bottom. I mean, I'll have plenty to do it, but then I don't want to have to mess with painting over that cake stand. And I think it's kind of nice, and especially once it's hanging on the house, especially depending on where you put your welcome home display, it'll be kind of fun to see it. And I'll try to line this one up right along the edge. So we'll let the bottom part just be your own personal preference, whatever you decide to do. Okay? I know, it just adds some fun color and pop to the sides. You know, you see projects, when you have projects on display, you see them from all angles. And now we won't have a boring edges. We'll have cute polka dot edges. So I do want to make sure this is dry before I sand off the excess. It's always important. Make sure it's nice and dry before we sand that part off. And this is quite easy. I'm going to use my sandpaper here. You can use a sanding file if you choose to, whatever you choose to. It's just good to make sure it's dry before you do this so the napkin doesn't pull or tear. And then there's one side up here that I'm going to sand off the front. And it is right here. Just that one little front edge. See how easy that was? And now, do you see how this just looks more festive? It's just so cute and so festive. And then I'll let y'all decide about the bottom. The bottom is you're still going to have, look, this much more dots. You're going to have plenty more dots if you decide to put dots on the bottom. Okay. So last but not least, we need to seal the sides. Always, 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 we want to seal our projects. I think I already did this side, but okay. And now that can be drying. All right. Isn't it fun? I think the dots do add a lot. I think they do add a lot. It just makes it so much more pretty and cute and festive. So you're going to have leftovers. You're going to have leftovers. These are really fun. You can use them to maybe you want to make a tag to hang off of a gift bag. So many different things, especially when it comes to paper crafting. There's so many things we can do with our napkins. And that is all stuff I would love to teach you in the Napkin Club. All right, we're going to switch gears here. Actually, no, let's go back to this one. Let's start with this one. So on this one, I just want to make sure everything's dry before we move on. It will, isn't it cute? I mean, these would be really cute. I think, Stephanie, even for like, if you made one for the office and just, you know, when it's somebody's birthday, like if you're at work and it's somebody's birthday, they get to have these in there, you know, at their desk that day or something. You could pass them around to different people on their birthdays. I just think there's lots of things you could do. So that, and it was important to me that we did that obviously we're always celebrating birthdays, right? But it was also important to me that we did one that was just celebrate, because there's lots of things in life that we celebrate, right? Maybe one of my grandkids got, 100 on a test that they studied really hard for. Or maybe your husband got that promotion he's been trying to get for so long. Or maybe you're celebrating that you just lost 10 pounds. Whatever it is. Yeah, you could turn them into gift card holders. That would be really cute. I love that. All right, so we're going to switch gears here really quick. Let me get a baby wipe. I'm just getting a baby wipe for my brushes so they don't get too crusty before I get a chance to wash them out. Okie dokie. There we go. So I'll just wrap those up really quick. All right, now I'm going to bring the camera down a little bit for this next part. And let me see if I can get this cord out of my cords everywhere. Okay, I just want to go in a little closer with you because the next thing we're going to do is some pin work. Okay, so I like to do pin work with pit pins. We also carry these, and I'm going to be using probably the medium and the small today. And we just want to add a little extra pop to these happy birthday letters. Okay, so just kind of watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take these and just kind of do what I call broken lines. We're kind of doodling. And yes, there's texture on the canvas, so there's going to be kind of some texture. You can be kind of wiggly with this. You don't have to be perfect. I usually kind of just try to skip a little space when my hand lifts up. But what this is going to help what this is going to help do is it's just going to make these letters pop even more. We are going to be putting some sparkle on them. and it's just going to make them really stand out. So I'm using the medium tip. You need to be sure that you're using a pen that is going to be steadfast, and that means it needs to be waterproof. We need to know that it's not going to bleed or smear when moisture is on it. And these pit pens, once they are dry, they are steadfast, because we're going to put stickles on it, and that is like a liquid, like a glitter glue, really. And again, you don't have to be perfect at this. It's kind of cute. It's cutesy, doodly, whimsical. All right, just kind of fun. I'm going to come in and do the same thing down here on these bottom letters. And everything I'm doing on this canvas, a lot of the same things are going to happen on the other one as well. And I'm actually going to go in on the inside of these letters too. And you definitely will see kind of the texture of your canvas come through your ink, and that's okay with me. I like that. I like having some texture. I'm only really going around these once. Y'all know that sometimes I will do things twice, but I think on these letters, because they're already so big and bold, it's going to be fine to just do it once. Cute, cute, cute. I love the mix of fonts, and I love the mix of patterns on this. Do you have to let the first layer of napkin Mod Podge dry if you want to add little accent napkin pieces? Not necessarily, but sometimes I like to have it be a little bit dry if the napkin's going to go on top, because again, I don't want anything to cause that napkin to try to pull up. So just having a little bit on there. It just depends on, you know, those little accent pieces you're talking about that you're going to put on. Like if you were going to put on extra stars or dots somewhere, I kind of like it when the bottom layer is a little dry. It doesn't have to be all the way dry, but if it's a little dry, it just seems to work better when you're collaging. Okay, so now I've got that part done. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with a smaller tip. This is the small, and I'm just going to do a little line around the candle flames. So just kind of a cute little doodly outline around the candle flames. And then I'm going to just do a fun, this one I'm going to do a double trace on. Which means I'm going to go in and trace it a couple times. I don't want everything to line up. I want it to look kind of doodly. See that top little layer of icing? Okay. Now I'm going to come down here on the cake plate, also with my small. And again, just some kind of broken lines. And then on all these curves, I'm not even going to try to make everything line up. I want it to have a little bit more of this kind of artsy, doodly, fun kind of look. And to some of you, it's going to look messy, and that's kind of that's kind of the point. It is kind of meant to look kind of hand-drawn, doodly, messy, all the things. Come down here. I'm going to bring this over this side for my cake base. Okay. Really cute. I think I will go ahead. I was debating whether I should do that line right there, but it looks funny without it. Okay, so next step for this one, I'm going to go ahead and put the stickles on this one. And then while that's drying, we're going to work on the Celebrate. And I stickled just about everything. Okay. I added stickles to just about everything. So this color is called Diamond. But you can use whatever color you want. I just feel like if it's festive and fun, it should have sparkle. This has kind of a golden fleck in it. And when I say everything, I mean everything. And I'm just using the tip to kind of come in. This is why I wanted to do the black outline, because it's just going to really help this all pop with the sparkle. I'm going to kind of turn it. Sometimes sparkle's hard to see on camera. I think that shows it pretty well. Everything is getting it. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing this out of the tip of the bottle, you could squeeze a little bit out on a plate or something, and then just come back with a brush and kind of pounce it on in place. I want everything to sparkle, everything. Now, remember, we still have our confetti, and we'll talk about the confetti here in a minute, but let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and get this all on here. Very easy to apply. Got that little tip, so it just makes it really easy. I just squeeze it out and kind of move it around with the tip. And I don't care if you're worried about boys, girls, whatever. It's party. Think party. Parties should sparkle. They're festive and fun. Parties, celebrations, right? Lots of sparkle. This will take a few minutes to dry. Yeah, I'm sparkling the cake plate too. But if you want to pick and choose, you can pick and choose where you add your sparkle. So cute. See all that sparkle? I love it. Okay, we're going to put this one to the side now. And we're going to go, oh, I forgot something. Okay, I did forget this. I'm not going to do all of this right now, but I'm just going to tell you, if you did want to, you could come in and you could sparkle some of the polka dots or all of the polka dots. What do you think I did on my sample? Yeah, I did them all. I came in and sparkled every single polka dot. You don't have to watch me do all that right now, but I did. I wanted all to sparkle. Okay, let's go to Celebrate. Same kind of thing. What we're going to do first is we're going to come around. Now, the Celebrate letters are smaller. Okay, the Celebrate letters are smaller. So I'm going to be using my small pit pen. So the very first thing I'm doing is outlining. Oh, I need to make sure this is still a little damp. Let me make sure this is totally dry. It's got to be totally, totally dry. And let me go ahead and erase my pen lines here as well. Let me do that really quick. No, they're just so fun. You gotta add the sparkle on this one. It's just gonna be so much more festive and fun. Okay, so all my lines are gone. Now I'm good. I'm going to, again, just come in here. And as your hand lifts up, just skip a little space. And we're just gonna outline. I'm even outlining these skinny ones. And sometimes you'll see that I'm a little bit more on the white than I am on the color, and that's okay. This skinny one kind of goes across, and it has a loop to loop, and it comes down here. So cute. So don't put too much pressure on yourself trying to make everything look perfect. This is meant to be whimsical. It's meant to be fun, a lot of whimsy. So let your kind of artsy doodling, let that be whimsical too. It doesn't have to be straight. It can be kind of wiggly. It doesn't have to be right on the color. And then this T has all kinds of curly stuff going on it. So let me get the T part first. And then on this one, I'm just going to draw over the squiggles. I'm not going to try to like trace them. Just gonna kind of go over them with the black. Just like that. You have yet to sparkle. Okay, well, this is the set you need to break the ice with and add some sparkle to. I promise you're gonna love it. Okay, you're gonna love it. So all of my Celebrate letters now have been outlined. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna outline are these balloons. I think these balloons are really cute and I want them to stand out a little more. I'm just gonna kind of, again, it's just kind of up to you. A few lines, we're just doodling. We're just kind of working off of the napkin art that's here to give us something to kind of go by. This could be the dots you could outline. It's going to help those balloons to stand out even more. And this down here is actually a heart. And another heart. So there's little hearts down in the bottom of that balloon. See that? Isn't that cute? If there's any stars that you want to outline, I don't think you have to do like all of the stars, but maybe just the bigger stars. I'll let you guys decide on that. You know, I'm going to sparkle them. So you decide how much pinwork you want to add. I think that looks so cute. Let's do one here. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my my medium pen. I'm going to go back to my medium pen because remember how I told you, do you see how this is just kind of floating kind of in and out? What I'm going to do now is just, I want a black line. That's why I was saying, like, if your pencil lines still show, or if a little bit of the paint kind of comes out a little too far, it's okay because we're going to come in and just kind of draw some broken lines. I feel like we kind of need a stop start to where we're seeing that paint, that kind of fade out with our polka dots happening. So I like just kind of using my pen to kind of draw this out. Now, anytime we do this kind of artsy doodly kind of stuff, a lot of times if you're looking at it too closely, you're going to critique it a lot. And I don't want you to do that. What I want you to do is this. This is what I want you to do. I want you, as you're looking at it, I want you to hold it back. Okay. I want you to hold it kind of back from you when you're looking at it. Don't be looking at it like this because you're going to over critique it. Hold it back and it's going to be so stinking cute. Okay. It's going to be so cute. All right. I used diamond on this one, but I think diamond or crystal, either one would look really pretty. So I'm going to start adding my sparkle. And again, guess what? Everything's going to sparkle. So my letters are going to sparkle. So that's going to sparkle. Now, guess what else? These fireworks are going to sparkle. So just as you're going along, wherever you want to add sparkle, that's where we want to add it. And I'm adding it everywhere. And sometimes I'll even add it in the centers of letters, especially if they're really, skinny or tight. And I'm just kind of scribbling it into the fireworks here. Like you just can't You can't go wrong. Just kind of almost like making your own firework. Just kind of go in and around everywhere. I'm going to add it on the balloons too. Yeah, so there's not a lot of questioning over, did she add sparkle there or there or there? Because the answer on this project is going to be yes, everywhere. It's going to be yes, even around these little curly cues. And then if you want to add some in the stars, same thing, I did the polka dots. And again, I don't know that I'll do all those with you on camera. And then I took some kind of up along the lines of these green kind of flourishes. So you can just kind of draw with the tip. And we're going to put them everywhere. Did I do all the polka dots? Yep, I did. I'll do a few of them here. I'm not going to do all of them on camera, but I just a little squiggle in the center of all the polka dots. Everything sparkles. Everything sparkles, right? It's festive. It's fun. We want all of that to sparkle. I did not sparkle the kind of fadeaway ones here that we painted on top of. I left those alone. So all of this is sparkling, right? Because I'm putting it on the polka dots, and then the stuff here in the center is sparkling. Okay. All right, you guys are doing good. Hang with me here just a second. I'm going to show you how we're going to make the bow while this is drying. And then the very last thing I'll show you is about the glitter confetti. Okay. I know, right? It's just so fun. It's so fun and so cute. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. Yes. And then remember our gold confetti, that's going to be another kind of reflective quality. So they're going to be really darling. All right, let's talk about the bow. All right, let's talk about the bow. So you're going to need some little scissors for this bow. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to deconstruct it. All right, we're going to deconstruct the bow. So I'm going to just peel off this sticky thing. Okay, I'm just going to peel off this sticky thing here. Just peel the whole thing off. Yeah, there we go. Now you could reuse these, the little strip here if you want to, but we've given you enough twine that you can do it with twine too. Okay, so once you do that, I want to show you up really close. Do you see how you're going to have this little knot right there? Okay, that little sticky thing was hiding that knot. And so what we're going to do next is we're going to pull up that knot and we're going to cut it. We're going to cut that knot off. And when we do that, you're going to see that everything comes apart. It all comes apart. It's just been stitched. That's it. Okay, so take everything apart and you're going to have a pile of these beautiful curling ribbons. A pile of these beautiful curly ribbons. I know these canvases are going to look like presents in themselves, right? It's going to be adorable. So the next thing I want you to do is I want you to put, we're going to separate them. So there's 2 of each color. So we're going to do, here's a red, here's a purple, here's a red, here's a purple, here's a blue, here's a blue, because we're going to make 2 bows. Oh, there's some thread there. Let me pull that thread out. There's green, and there's green. There's yellow, and all of these colors are in our napkin art. So it's like, it's just perfect. And then orange. Okay. So now you're going to have 2 piles, and this is plenty. This is plenty to make bows for each of the canvases. So we're taking 1 bow that was beautiful. It was just really too big. It was overpowering. And we're turning this 1 bow into 2. Okay. We're going to turn this 1 bow into 2. I'm going to switch my screen. All right. I want to make sure that you can see. what we're doing here. Okay, now I want you to go grab, I'm going to go grab the twine from my kit. I did this with twine. If you want to use the little, like the little bread tie wrapper, you can. We're just going to, in fact, let's do this. Take your ruler, because you're going to need 11 inches to hang, to be your hanger. So let's just cut that off first real quick. So I'm going to hold both of these up and I'm going to bring them all the way down to 11 inches and I'm going to cut that. So 11 inches, and these 11-inch pieces of twine are going to be for our hangers. So we're going to put those to the side. And now you're going to have a little piece of black and white and a little piece of red and white. This part is super easy. So let's go ahead. Let's start with one pile. Now, I don't really care about the order of these. If you care, then that's going to be important for you to, you know, just to kind of figure out. I'm going to lay my twine down, and then I'm just going to grab this whole pile and just put it right on top. I don't even care if they're kind of going like you know, angles or anything like that. And then I'm going to pull this up. It's going to be kind of in the middle, right? And I'm just going to give it a tie, just a doop. Okay, just going to tie it off, and I'm going to tie it nice and tight, double knot. Double knot. Okay, if you want to leave the twine in there showing, you can. I actually snipped off my tails. Okay, now when we get ready to put this on, you can kind of like just fuss with it, mix it up, let the ribbons kind of fall within each other. You just get a really cute little fun curly bow. Okay, we're going to do the same thing now with this one. Don't overthink this. There's nothing to overthink about this. And again, I'm just going to kind of, oops. If you want some of them going kind of sideways in here, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just kind of eyeballing the center. We're going to lift up the twine and just tie it off. Tie it off in a double knot. We want it nice and tight. And then I clipped off the twine tails. Then just turn it over and just, you can start kind of fussing with it. Some of this fussing can happen after it's already on your canvas, and I did that as well. But it is kind of fun how the curly cues just kind of catch each other, and so they're just so cute, right? So don't overthink the bows. The bows are super, super easy. They're so easy. Okay, so now we have two bows. We have two bows, one for each of these. They don't have to share a bow, which is really nice. Now I'm going to go back to celebrate. We're almost done. We're almost done. Actually, you know what? We probably should put the hangers on. So let me turn on my glue gun and we will do that. And then grab your confetti. We're going to use the confetti and we're going to put the hangers on. So anytime, whenever you put a hanger on to something, especially when it's this small like twine, if you have a little scrap piece of paper or fabric or felt or whatever, it's kind of nice to have something to kind of sandwich on top of the tail of the twine. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. And it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter the color because it's going to be on the back side of the canvas. In fact, I think I'll just use that. I've got some scrap papers right here. So even if it's just a little strip or a square, I'm going to do little squares, I think. And they don't have to be the same, but it's going to help just to really hold that in there secure. Anything can work for this. Any kind of paper or felt or fabric, all those things. Okay, let me see if this is dry. Okay, it's not quite dry yet. So I'm going to be extra careful. Now, this is something that's important. Okay, let's make sure that we don't put our hanger on and have our celebrate or our happy birthday be upside down. So I always look, okay, I'm looking at it this way, it's going this way, which means I'm going to put this part on. And I did my black and white on celebrate. I'm going to do this with hot glue. My hot glue's not quite hot enough yet. Let's give it just a second. And it's going to come down about an inch. So an inch and an inch. And this is an 11-inch piece of twine. All right, here we go. Now it's ready. So I'm going to put down kind of a blob. I'm going to take my twine and just lay it down into that blob. And then I'm going to take my little piece of paper and just put it right down on top. If you use white, obviously it will blend into the back of the canvas, but you could always cover this if you want. It doesn't bother me. I'm just happy it's going to help my twine stay in. So another blob of hot glue. And then again, coming in about an inch. And another piece of paper. And that just kind of spreads the hot glue, and it's going to help it to really stay nice and secure. Okay, and that gives you the perfect size hanger for the welcome home sign. Okay, that's going to give you the perfect size hanger for the welcome home sign. Let me do my birthday one right quick too while we're at it. And then we just have one final, well, we're going to do the, I'm going to show you how to do the gold confetti. And then we'll add our bows. We'll do these both at the same time. So again, I'm kind of holding it off the table because the stickles are still a little wet. Perfect. 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 So I did the red and white on happy birthday. And that's up to you. You can do it however you want. Okay. All right. We're going to switch back to celebrate. Now we have our hangers on. And we're going to open up all this wonderful confetti. So I'm just going to kind of dump the confetti out here. There are a couple different sizes of stars. All right, a couple different sizes of stars. Now, do you see this pile? You are not going to use all of this. Okay, I'm going to say it again. You're not going to use all of this. You will have some leftover, but you will have extra in case you want to do something more than what I'm doing. Okay. All right. So how are we going to get this confetti on here? How's it going to keep these stars on? Well, one thing that helped me was a pair of tweezers. If you have a pair of tweezers, this will help. And then we're going right back to our Mod Podge. Okay, we're going to go right back to our Mod Podge, which is right here. Let me see if this is still, yeah, I can get in there. So back to our Mod Podge, and on Celebrate, I'm going to start right here, kind of in this corner. I'm going to put on some Mod Podge. This is also another good idea why wait to do the sparkle on your dots until after you put your stars on. I'm going to pick up a star, and I just found it's easier to do it with tweezers, and I'm just laying them in and then kind of giving them a push. So it's the Mod Podge that's going to keep the stars on. So make sure your Mod Podge is fairly thick. And I'm sorry if you already started putting on the, what do you call it? Stickles on the dots. It's okay. You can always go back and put them on there again. So I kind of did a little area, and I did the big stars first. I just kind of did a little area over in this corner with bigger size stars first. And then I came in and just filled in with some little stars. Do I have Mod Podge over there? If you don't think you have Mod Podge in a certain spot, make sure you add it. Otherwise, when you lift this up, the stars will fall off. but it holds the stars beautifully. So now I'm going to start just kind of placing in some of these little small stars. And I'm telling you, the tweezers are awesome for this. So you can just put these in however and wherever you want. And I just fill in. And so on Celebrate, I actually put them in these two corners. I put them up in this corner and down in this corner. And trust me, you're going to have plenty. Let's see, maybe one more right there. All right, I think that looks pretty good. So afterward, I just kind of, you could do this with a toothpick or something. I'm just going to use the end of my tweezers. I just kind of gave them a press down. Just gave them a little press down into the Mod Podge. Mod Podge is all going to dry nice and clear. I think we need one more. This is the hard part with this stuff. It's like knowing when to stop. And it's hard. So let me show you. Look how nice that is. So cute. So I put stars on this corner and I'm going to put stars down on this corner. Really cute and fun and festive, right? So I'm going to do the same thing down here. Does it all have to look exactly the same? No, it doesn't. So just start laying them out. Just think corners on this one. I think just these two corners on this one, it just looks really good. Instead of trying to sprinkle it everywhere, your eye just kind of falls to it in the corners. So again, I'm just placing them on there. And then once they're on, I'll go back and kind of tap them down in place. Okay, trust me on this, tweezers. Tweezers are going to be super helpful. You can kind of move them around in the Mod Podge if you get them too close together. And that's probably enough because I don't think I put any there. Okay, so now my little stars. And I just let the little stars just kind of be in the empty spaces. You can move them a bit if you need to while the Mod Podge is still wet. Okay, I think you get the gist. Everybody get the gist on this? Does it have to look exactly the same? Nope. If you don't work fast enough, you may have to reapply your Mod Podge. And trust me, you'll know because when you hold it up, the stars will fall off if you know, your Mod Podge dried too soon or whichever. Okay, I'm just going to show you that little area. Isn't that cute? So on this one, I just did the top two, the bottom corner here and this top corner. So it kind of just goes across. All right. If you wanted to, it might be cute to put like a star in the center of some of the fireworks. You could do that too. Okay. Isn't that fun? So now all this one needs is its bow. I'm not going to glue the bow on just yet though, because I am going to be adding sparkle to the dots, but all you have to do, you guys, is just you're going to basically put more so like a line of glue. And then when you put this on, I kind of just kind of hold it on. I don't like the knot showing, so I'm going to do it like this. And just let it kind of catch where it's going to catch at first, where that twine, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not on the camera, where that twine is. And then start playing with it. Move all the ribbons forward. And then if you need to tack down some of the ribbons with hot glue up here, that's what you'll do. And that way it'll all just kind of stay more so up on top of the, you know, the canvas. We don't want anything draping to the back, even though it might, but make sure when you hang it on something, make sure you bring all those ribbons to the front. Okay. All right, let me show you really quickly on this one where I put my stars. Okay. Did that make any sense at all? Okay, you're going to put a line of glue on the top. You're going to take, see where the knot is? The knot, I want to go down into the glue and then just hold it there. We want that part to just hold, because once that part is held, then we can start bringing all the ribbons to the front. You can start kind of playing with them, intertwining them. And as you do this, you can add some dots of glue. Let me move this back kind of right in here to kind of secure things to stay where you want them to stay. Okay, like I didn't want my bow ribbons to cover up all my candles, so I just put little dots of glue wherever I needed things to stay. Okay, and you know what that's called, ladies, gals? You know what that's called? That's called being the boss of your bow. I want you to be the boss of your bow. If you have to, if it's getting wild and something's hanging where you don't want it to hang, then just put a little dot of glue and move it where it needs to be, or have it kind of intertwine. Especially these curly ribbons are really fun because they'll just kind of intertwine with each other and they just look adorable. Okay. So you've got this. Be the boss of your bow. You've got this. All right. Let me show you where the stars are going to go on this one. And then I just have to add sparkle to the polka dots and let it dry, and they'll be ready to hang. Okay, so on this one, I decided to do the stars a little differently in their placement. I still did them the exact same way, but let me show you kind of where I put my Mod Podge. I didn't want it to affect the happy birthday. I thought the happy birthday was so cute. So I put a few in this corner right here and in this corner right here. So these are going to be the first two corners that I'm going to do here. And again, it's totally up to you how many, right? I'm going to let you decide. Oops, there's a small star underneath that. Sometimes they like to kind of try to stick together. And don't think too hard on this, or you'll drive yourself crazy. Just kind of let them drop. It's just confetti. It's not supposed to be perfect, right? I think I did about like this. And then I started filling in with the little stars. Okay, let's fill in with some little stars. See how fast this is going? I don't want you, this shouldn't take a ton of time. If it gets too close, just scoot it over. So fun. Fun and festive. Make sure you clean your tweezers off after you get done with all this. So I think you can see, right? I'm just kind of doing some in each corner. Okay, and I'll come back after I'm done. I usually kind of just hold them up and look at it, and I feel like I have a hole. Trust me, you're going to have plenty of the star confetti. So if I do feel like I kind of have a hole there, here or there, I'll dot some on. So I did some in both corners. Here's one corner, here's another corner, and then the rest I treated like we normally treat confetti, which is on the table, right? So down here at the base, I hope I have enough. I might have just enough Mod Podge to do this. Because you want it on kind of thick. I treated it just like table confetti. Okay, if you want to still use the tweezers, you can. You can put on maybe like your bigger stars first. Or you can even just kind of sprinkle it and then sprinkle it on and then just kind of move things around. But basically just filled the table with confetti. Now, there'll be some of these places, like there's a flower right there. Just depending on what parts of your napkin show, you can put a little star inside that flower if you want to. I'll do that. So we're just going to let this all be like table confetti. And you can put it on, again, as thick as you want. I can even come in and sprinkle it. And then just move. Ooh, don't go off. Okay. And then you can just kind of move them around wherever you want them to be. Let's do a little bit of sprinkling over here. So at least once you sprinkle, then you can just kind of move things where you want them to be. If it's too many big stars, then you can still move things around. And then just come in and start filling. And look at all the confetti I still have left. I have a ton of confetti left. Right? Just going to sprinkle it on, and then you can just move it where you want it to be. But you got to work kind of fast because of the Mod Podge. Does that make sense? So all this whole bottom area, I could just keep filling in. I did not put stickles on the stars. I left them alone because I think it's fun to have some sparkle from the stickles and then also this gold reflective quality. So everything on the bottom is just table scatter, right? Just table scatter confetti. You put on as much or as little as you want. So I did the two top corners, and then down here kind of on the table underneath the cake plate. Again, just to remind you, over here, I did these two corners. I wanted them to look a little bit different, right? So this is drying. Probably will add some more. But again, does everybody feel comfortable about their bow? Literally, it's just going to get glued on. And then if things are falling down too much in certain places, you're just going to use little dots of glue to secure those. Okay. And then when it's all done, it's going to look kind of, and I kind of just crisscross the ribbons so that you never see the knot where it's kind of centered. And you'll be able to do that better once it's just glued in place. And then it just looks like this whole bunch of fun happening on top of our canvases. That's what it's going to look like. That's what they're going to look like. And I just think they're precious. They're so fun. And now if you got the kit, now you're going to have a happy birthday that you can put out anytime you're celebrating birthdays, or a celebrate. And a celebrate could be for all kinds of things, right? Any kind of special occasion that you want to celebrate, big occasion or small occasions, right? Either one. I'm going to hold them up for you again, just so you can kind of see all the different elements of sparkle. Just so cute. And our happy birthday. I thought this happy birthday napkin was one of my favorites that I've seen. I think it's just darling. And then of course we'll top these off with our cute curly ribbon.